Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are going to look into new topic, which is tax incentive. All right, under tax incentive, there are three main subtopics. One is pioneer status, second one is investment tax allowance, and third one is reinvestment allowance. Yeah, so these are the major tax incentive that is given by the government to companies in Malaysia. Right. Then you will see later that, all right, when you do your advanced taxation, you'll see that there are many more tax incentive given by government, which is not under this three, but the method or the computation will be based either on the pioneer status or the tax incentive. Yeah, so you have to understand how it works under pioneer status and how it works under the ITA. Then you can actually apply the same principles in other tax incentive. For example, you're talking about tax incentive for MSc, all right? Tax incentive for green technology, all right? So we have so many tax incentive given by the government to companies, but it's not named as pioneer or ITA, but it's actually the basis, the principle is based on the pioneer or investment tax allowance, all right? So I have actually shared with you the textbook chapter on pioneer status. All right, you can see that in your Google Classroom, we have, hold on, yeah. How do I escape from here? Right, in your Google Classroom, I have actually shared under the scan chapter. All right. Pioneer status is here. And then you also have the PowerPoint, all right? So I have to inform you that this PowerPoint is not prepared by me. It's actually prepared by Dr. Salwahana. So thank you, Dr. Salwahana, for the PowerPoint slides. As you know that I don't like to have a PowerPoint slide, but this will help me a lot in presentation of this topic. Okay, tax incentive. So what's an incentive? What do you think is a tax incentive? Why do you think we have tax incentive? Agak-agaknya why government offers a lot of tax incentive? Can you hear me or not? Kenapa ya? Meeting password? Do you need the meeting password? Hold on. Do you need a meeting password? I don't have the meeting password. Let me see. Is it this one? Numeric password, is it? Let me share that with your common view. Okay. All right, Malaysia offers, can I have some voice? I do not know whether I'm talking to myself or what. Where am I actually?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam, we can hear you.
Oh,
Yes, madam.
now you are not actually watching that. Ini yang bila punya silap. Hold on ya. I do not know. Where is it? Where are we? Escape. Are you seeing the PowerPoint now?
No, madam.
No? What do you see?
No, madam.
Where are we now? Oh, you're looking at myself now.
Yes.
Aduh, what happened? What happened? Madam tak dengar suara mute nak encourage orang bayar tax. Encourage orang bayar tax, okay. But more likely actually you give incentive, of course, to encourage people to do certain activity, right? To be involved in certain activity which is promoted by the government. So if I say that, okay, I want you to do tourism. So I give a lot of tax incentive on tourism industry. So if I want you to do, not me, okay, the government, if the government wants you to involve in certain, to improve, for example, to promote SME industries, all right, small, medium enterprise. So they will give a lot of tax incentive for SMEs, all right. In order for government to encourage certain activity, they will give a lot of incentive. So why? Because giving this incentive, at the end of the day, you have lower tax liability. Right, so when you have lower tax liability, this will also invite investors right, to invest in our country. Because why? Invest in our country, the cost of doing business is lower. One of it because tax is low. Why tax is low? Because their government is giving a lot of tax incentive. Yeah. All right. So let's look at the PowerPoint on this. So now, are you seeing the PowerPoint? Yes, right? Okay.
Yes, madam.
Very good. So Malaysia offers various tax incentives to promote investment in selected sectors. Yeah. So nampak ni, selected sectors. It means that it's not given to everyone, right? Because government can, we can't actually, we have to be very focused. So we have to say that, okay, I want to go into these sectors only, that we give promotion for that sector. I want to go for this product or this activity, then I will give that tax incentive for this activity or products. Yeah. Apart from manufacturing and agriculture sector, right? Other sectors include Islamic financial service, ICT, education, tourism, healthcare, and R&D. So these are the other sectors that the government actually give a lot of incentives, yeah? And form of the incentive, for example, you give income exemption. What do you mean by income exemption? Apa agaknya?
No need to pay the tax.
Sorry?
No need to pay the tax.
You don't have to pay exempted. Income is taxable but exempted from tax. So you don't have to pay tax on the income. All right, accelerated capital allowance means that the normal CA may be 2020, but the accelerated could be 2040. Yeah, so the rate is higher as compared to the normal ones. Double deduction means that you're given double deduction, means that you're given double deduction, right, on a one single expense. All right, then you also have special deduction, you have preferential tax treatment. So all these are what we call incentive. So when you have all these incentive, at the end of the day, it will give a lower chargeable income. Lower chargeable income is translated into lower tax liability. So that's what business is looking for. So to encourage company, all right, to do business at the same time, all right, so the government has to give a lot of incentive. Of course, when you give incentive, of course, the government would have lower tax collection, isn't it? But at the same time, incentive, for example, if you have foreign direct investment, for example, they will create employability, employment, for example, yeah. For example, now sekarang COVID ni, government bagi penjana, the government give a lot of incentive, yeah. They give you a lot of moratorium, for example. Why? Because of course, government have to give out money. All right, they are losing the leakages in money in that form, but with this spending, all right, for example, they give you a lot of money. Well, I think that university student got about 200 ringgit, yeah. So at least you can use the money to spend, and then you spend, and then it generates in the economy, all right, economic cycle. So you go back to you punya microeconomics and macroeconomics punya topic, GDP, all that, yeah. So tax is actually a fiscal policy, yeah. Fiscal policy means that the government use tax in order to help the government to move lah, yeah. All right, so these are the kind of incentive that we have, but this one is very general. The one that we are going through is very detailed one, yeah. All right, so in Malaysia there are 3 major tax incentive. We have one is pioneer status, number 2 is investment tax allowance, so ITA namanya, yeah. So pioneer and investment tax allowance, they have a special act, we call it as a Promotion of Investment Act 1986. So this one is another act which we're going to refer to on top of the Income Tax Act. Alright, so there are 2 different acts. So Promotion Investment Act ni memang specifically for promotion of investment. Yeah, in order for us to promote countries or investors, right? So we come up with the Promotion of Investment Act. And then we also have reinvestment allowance. All right, later we look into this topic. So reinvestment allowance is almost similar to investment tax allowance, but reinvestment allowance is actually provided under Income Tax Act 1967. Yeah, and double deduction, all that is also under Income Tax Act. Special deduction is under Income Tax Act. All right, so coming back to here. So when I say that pioneer status, investment tax allowance, all right, these 2 are actually mutually exclusive. All right, for example, it means that if you qualify, you have to choose. You want to go for pioneer status or you want to go for ITA. Yeah, so you cannot have both. So if you go for pioneer status, then you cannot go for ITA. But if you already have given pioneer status and then you see that, okay, pioneer status not good for the company, then you can actually withdraw pioneer status and go for investment tax allowance. But it's hassle lah, all right? You are losing a lot of time actually and you're losing a lot of money for not deciding. So that's why in your exam, for example, or even in practice, what we do is that client for companies, for them to go for tax incentive, because the tax incentive will have a lot of impact on the company cash flow because they don't have to pay a lot of tax. Yeah, so the money can be used for certain other things, but they have to decide very well whether they should go for pioneer status or they want to go for ITA. So you have to do both computation. Yeah, you have to do for pioneer status. You also have to do ITA. Then only you compare which one is good or which one is better for the company. If pioneer is better, then you will advise the client to go for pioneer status. All right. But if ITA is better, then go for ITA. In order for you to make that judgment, in order for you to advise your client, you have to do the computation. All right. And remember that the pioneer status or this tax incentive is given for 5 years. Yeah, so the 5 year means that you have to do tax computation for 5 years period lah. Because at the end of the day, you want to see the totality. For 5 years period ni, which one give the lower chargeable income? Which one will give you the higher exempt account, for example, all right? So which one is better for the company? So you have to do the simulation, all right? Of course, you cannot have the actual data, but normally company will give you some kind of projection, yeah? Amount of income, expenses, and how much is the projected profit, all that lah. Yeah, so will be given, and then you as a tax agent will help the company to make the decision. Yeah, okay. And as I say, that is mutually exclusive. Reinvestment allowance also normally is about, later we see that reinvestment allowance is a second round investment. So once you have finished your pioneer or ITA, then you want to apply for reinvestment allowance. So it's a second round incentive. Yeah. So the period is longer, which is 15 years. Yeah. And then we have pioneer and ITA are available for companies that participate in promoted activity or produce promoted products. All right, so it means that for you to go for pioneer status, if you want to apply for pioneer status or ITA, the company must be in the promoted activity. All right, for example, promoted activity is a tourism is a promoted activity, right? Or what is a promoted product? Or it depends. So the government will give you a list of activities, a list of promoted products. All right, then you see whether your company fall into any of this category. So if you fulfill that, then you can go and apply for pioneer or ITA. All right. And when you want to apply, you apply to MIDA, Malaysian Investment Development Authority. So this one is actually under MITI. So you have to submit your application for pioneer status or ITA to MIDA. MIDA will have to do a verification, everything. Then the approval actually by MITI. All right, Malaysian Industrial and Trade, Malaysian Industrial Trade, apa? International Trade Industry, something like that, right? So they are the one who give approval. So means that approval is from MITI, application to MIDA, approval from MITI. Yeah. So these are the administration part of the tax incentive. Okay. Then a list of promoted activity, promoted product as gazetted under Promotion of Investment Act. There are a lot of. There are many. Appendix 1, the general, other those high technology companies. So they give lah which are high technology companies, what are the activity, for example, what are the products that fall into that category. All right, we have small scale companies, selected industries, promoted activity, promote products for reinvestment. So all these are given in the list, all right, issued by Inland Revenue Board, and the list is updated from time to time. Okay. So again, for you to go for pioneer or ITA, it has to be, you must be involved in promoted activity or producing promoted product. Okay. So again, when you kata producing means that is for manufacturer. All right. There's no such thing. For example, you are a trading company buying and selling. You want to apply for pioneer and ITA? No. All right. You are not qualified for that because trading is not a promoted activity or promoted product under this topic, yeah. Okay. All right. So now let's go into the first one. Is a pioneer status. Okay, pioneer period. So tax relief period punya TRP, tax relief period for pioneer is a 5 years, begins on production day. Yeah, as stated in pioneer certificate. So what happens is that when you want to apply, you have to apply to MIDA. Alright, so MIDA will have to verify and then check whether you fulfill all the criteria, all the conditions, then only they will say that, okay, now we submit your application to MITI, then MITI will approve. So once MITI approve, and then alright, later is an approval, alright? But then they will have to issue a pioneer certificate. Pioneer certificate is not issued immediately, alright, this one you can see in the textbook, yeah? It's not issued immediately, normally when the company has reached 30% of their productivity. So it means that if the company can if the machine is still at 10% or 20%, if the production is still at 20%, so the company will not get a pioneer certificate. Right? Once they reach 30% minimum, then only MITI will give them pioneer certificate. So the pioneer certificate will mention the date of production. So the pioneer period starts on the first day of your production, right? Which is stated in the pioneer certificate. So once you know that, okay, this is a 5 years period and start on certain date, then you have a period where we have the pre-pioneer. So any period before the production day is what we call pre-pioneer period. Then you have the pioneer period, and then you have the post-pioneer period, right? So the pioneer period is for 5 years period. So this one is a post, and then anything before is a pre-pioneer. So you have to treat this separately, yeah, because there's a tax implication for these three. Okay, it said that pre-pioneer period and post-pioneer are considered as a separate non-pioneer business. So when you have pioneer period, anything pre, all right, for example, in this case, pre-pioneer is what we call non-pioneer period. So later under pioneer status kita ada period kita panggil non-pioneer business and a pioneer business. Yeah. Example, ABC Berhad, accounting year end 30th of June, granted pioneer status, and production day was 1st October 2015. Alright. So kalau you tengok, okay, if you look at here, right, year end tadi berapa? Where is the year end just now?
30 June.
30th of June, year end. Okay,
Yeah.
June, when is your production day?
1st October.
Year?
1st October. Yep.
Which year? It doesn't mention, is it? Is it mentioned which year?
I'm not remember. Sorry.
Okay. Hold on, let me see the screen again. Okay, 2015. Okay. So your year end kat sini bila? 30th June? Where's your year end here? Sini 30th June, and then you have what? 1st October 2015. So 30th June sini patutnya year end is?
2015.
15? Sini, so kat sini apa? Sini apa? You tell me. Okay, our year end here, 30th June 2015 atau 2016?
2016.
16, sure? It must be 2016 lah dia. Kalau sini December 2015 dan June 2016 lah. Takkan you nak go back. So kat sini must be 2015.
15.
Okay.
Yep.
Remember that your year end is 30th June 2016. But your production day starts on 1st October 2015. So what you will have is that you're going to have this period as pre-pioneer. Right? Because your production day start on 1st October. And then this one is the pioneer period, right? Until you have that 5 years. How many months in 5 years?
60.
Calculator.
50.
60 months. Okay. So what happens is that now you have a period, if what we call 1st July 2015 until 30th of September 2015. So this is what we call pre-pioneer period. Alright, even though this is one for year end 30th of June, but you have these 3 months period. Is it 3 July, August, September? 3 months. This 3 months is a pre-pioneer period. Now only you start pioneer period on 1st October 2015, close on 30th of. Nak close bila?
September.
September.
Oh, you have to close on your year end, 30th of June. 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is 30th of June 2019. Then you have 1st July 2017. Salah, 2017 pula. 2019. Okay. Until bila?
30th June 2020.
Salah lah. Ni dah 12 bulan. Ni 12, ni 12, ni 12. Salah, ni 9. 9 kan? 12, 12. So you ada lagi 1 tahun eh? Kalau sini 2019 is tu. I pula dah confused dah. 2020 kan ada another 12 months. So last one is
15 months.
July 2020 until 30th of September, which is a 3 months period. Nampak tak? Okay, the last year, right, so the first period is 9 months only because why? You have 3 months of pre-pioneer. Understand that?
Yes.
So once you have that 9 months, then the following year always close on your year end, 30th of June. So you have 12 months, 12 months, 12 months, 12 months. 48 months, right? 48 months, that means the last 3 months from 1st July 2020 until 30th September 2020. Okay, so that is 3 months. So total now you have 60 months. So this is what we call the pioneer period. Right, 60 months or for 5 years. So it means that then this year end is 30th of June. So it means that from 1st October, all right, 2020 to 30th June 2021 is your post-pioneer period. You see that? So that's how you compute your, determine how you decide assess on the year of assessment and the pioneer period. You will have your pre-pioneer period, then you have pioneer period, and then you have another 9 months of post-pioneer period. Do you get that? Okay. So if you look at in the slide, it shows you, but it doesn't have the graphical punya lah. Right? So it says that then here from here YA 2000, just the one that I explained earlier, but this one is in that form lah. Alright, you have 3 months pre-pioneer and then 9 month pioneer, and then plus 3 months pioneer period. And for 1st October 2020 to 30th June 2021 is your 9 months period, but this is a post-pioneer period. So now you have the pre-pioneer, 5 years pioneer period, then you have the post-pioneer period. Why is it important? Because you know that the pre-pioneer is a non-pioneer period. Post-pioneer is also a non-pioneer period. So make a difference between non-pioneer and pioneer period. Okay? All right. Next is that profit exemption. So why is it so important that you want to be in a tax incentive under pioneer period? Because the incentive is that you are given exemption, means that you don't have to pay tax on your statutory income. Generally, it's 70% of your statutory income will be abated. All right, will be abated means that put aside, you don't have to pay that 70%. Is that clear? So let's assume that your statutory income is 100,000. Then if 70% is abated, then means that you only have to pay 30% tax on your statutory income. How to come to your statutory income? From your adjusted income plus balancing charge minus capital allowance, then you come to your statutory income. Once you have your statutory income, 70% is abated, then you only have to pay tax on your 30% of the pioneer income. Yeah. So abated, what do you mean by abated? Abated statutory income would be credited to exempt income. So you're going to put aside that 70%, all right? And then you're going to put that into exempt income. But this amount, 70%, is not final. That's why you say that it's not exempted 70%, it's only abated 70%. The amount which is exempted, actually exempted, that goes into your exempt account is reduced by your adjusted loss, currently adjusted loss from non-pioneer business. All right. So what do you mean by non-pioneer business? Remember just now I cakap pasal pre-pioneer period? So that is a non-pioneer. But you may also have one company may have business one, business two. Business one is a pioneer business. It means that these are the promoted activity or you are producing promoted product. Business two is a non-promoted product. So because of that, you tak boleh go for pioneer lah. So now you have pioneer one, you have pioneer product or pioneer business, and you have also non-pioneer business. Yeah. So for if the non-pioneer business is making loss, that loss will reduce your abated income. Right. So I know that you are worried already, right? But hold on, later we look into the example, yeah? Okay. And then that 70% will also be reduced by unabsorbed loss brought forward from pioneer business. What is the note number 1? Unutilized current year non-pioneer loss deduct from aggregate income. And note number 2 is say that pioneer loss can only be set off against pioneer business. Unabsorbed pioneer loss can be carried forward to post-pioneer period. So what happened is that, remember that just now, apa dah rasa macam, apa ni, relax, okay. Apa nak buat tadi okay. I say that you have statutory income, right? Let's say that your statutory income is 100,000. Okay. Then you know that 70% is abated. And 30% will be deemed income. Okay. You're going to divide this statutory income into 70 and 30%. So 70% abated is 70,000. Right? 70% abated is 70,000. But this amount will be reduced if you have any current year loss from your non-pioneer. Can you see that clearly? Okay. So you are
Yes, madam.
100,000. So 70% is 70,000. So this 70,000 is reduced by your current year loss from your non-promoted. So let's say that you have a non-promoted business and you have a loss of 30,000. Let's say lah, okay, 30,000. So that one is deducted from your abatement, from the 70% abated income. And then you can also, you have to also reduce any pioneer loss brought forward. So later we look at the example, how do you have your pioneer loss brought forward? So let's say that your pioneer loss brought forward is 10,000. So it means that from 70,000, you only have balance of 30,000, isn't it? So this 30,000 is the one that goes into your exempt account. Okay, exempt account. So you have to show your workings on the 7% abated minus current year loss and minus loss brought forward in order to determine your exempt account. At the end of the day, all right, remember that whether you want to go for pioneer status or you want to go for your ITA, you want to see number 1 is what is the chargeable income under pioneer status. Number 2, how much is your exempt income? All right. You want to have lower chargeable income. You want to have a higher exempt income. And number 3, is there any losses that you can carry forward? Of course, if you have loss carry forward means that you can use the loss to set off against your future income. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. I need to switch off the fan. Video. Okay, bunyi on tu. Okay, any question? Okay, so generally this is what a pioneer status. What you want to know at the end of the day is how much is the chargeable income for the 5 years period, and how much is the exempt account, and how much is the loss available to carry forward under pioneer status. All right, if you go for that pioneer status, yeah. So later we look into IDA. We want to determine the thing. So this is what the 70% abated, and the 30% means that that is going to be taxed at the normal tax rate. For example, 24%. We're going to tax that income accordingly. Okay. Next is unutilized. So we go here, and then capital allowance. Remember that you have your adjusted income minus your capital allowance. Yeah, so if you have capital allowance in the YA Pioneer Business Comments claimed by Pioneer Business, in the Pioneer C claimed by Post Pioneer Period, any unabsorbed CA can be carried forward. Hello? Okay, who is actually having that sound? We can mute that. Okay. What is meant by here is, remember that just now we have period where we call this one is the pre-pioneer period. This one is the pioneer period of 5 years, right? 60 months. And now we have post-pioneer period. You get that? Okay. All right. So what happened is that you have pre-pioneer period. In that example, we have 3 months, right? And then we have post-pioneer of 9 months. Okay. So what happened is that whenever you have, this one means that start from 1st of July 2015 until 30th of September 2015. Okay. During this 3 months period, if you were to incur capital expenditure, for example, if you were to purchase machine, if you were to purchase office equipment, if you were to incur any industrial building expenses, for example, capex, all right, so you're going to claim capital allowance, right? So whatever you incur during this 3 months pre-pioneer period is deemed to be incurred in the pioneer period. Right, so you're going to claim whatever that you have incurred here in this period, right? In the first pioneer period lah. Okay. What happened is that for so then you claim as normal lah, during that period that you incur the 5 years period. Then you're going to incur your capex. All right, you are going to claim your capital allowance on the capex that you have incurred during the pioneer period. It's just that if you incur during the pre-pioneer, it's deemed that you're going to claim that in pioneer period. So it means that the CA that you claim during the pioneer will be higher lah. So bila higher CA, you akan dapat lower SI, isn't it? Pandai in level report. Okay, the post-pioneer period, so whatever that you incur in here, all right, will be claimed in the post-pioneer. All right, so example here tadi year end is 30th of June kan? 2021 I think, isn't it? So it means that the period cut, yeah, so it's still period pioneer, so dia akan dari 1st July until 30th of
September.
Is it?
September.
September. Betul ke? Ni 1st July juga.
Sebab dia start 1st October.
1st October, 1st October. But this one until 2021 kan? 1st October 2021 sampai 30th of June 2022. Isn't it? Still a pioneer period. But it's already dah salah je. The last period.
1st October 2019 sampai 30th June 2020.
Okay, the last pioneer period is for 9 months, right?
Pioneer period.
Pioneer period. The last final period is for 9 months kan? Sini, sini 3 months, so kat hujung sini mesti 9 months lah.
Betul.
Macam mana nak buat Tengok balik. Sabar. The post pioneer period. Okay. 3 months je lah. Oh, post pioneer is 9 months kan? The 3 months period betul lah 1st July tadi. 1st July to 2020 until 30th September. Right, 2020. So the 3 months, but these 3 months is still under pioneer status, isn't it?
Yes, madam.
But your pioneer status habis on 30th September 2020. So the 3 months periods by year end is 30th of June. So that's why you had a cut off period like that. Okay. So what happened is that whatever expenses capex that you incur during this period, remember this one dah masuk year YA 2020, 2021. Yeah. So it's deemed to be incurred under post pioneer period. Why is it so important for you to understand this? Because assuming that you incur capex during this period, then you have to decide, oh, capex incurred during these last 3 months, should I claim during the pioneer period or should I claim during the post pioneer period? All right. Or to be more advanced, if you already know that if you were to incur this during this period, remember that if you incur here, all right, CA, you don't want to claim because you want to maximize your SI. Why you want to maximize your SI? Because in this case, you want to increase a lot more of your exempt account. The higher SI, the more goes into your exempt account. Remember that your tax is only on that 30% of your SI. You want 70% high, right? So if possible, then you know that, okay, if whatever I incur during this period will be claimed in the post pioneer, it's good lah. So if you have to incur during this period. Alright, so that it will maximize your statutory income. But of course, this is the advanced level punya thinking lah, because you know that, okay, in 5-year period, you project, how can I reduce my tax liability for my 5th year of my pioneer status? Alright, or how can I maximize my exempt account? So this one is, you may not be able to see it now, right, because you don't see the computation yet, but this is one of the tax planning, right, that you want to look into when you do your when you advise your client. Okay. 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 The calculation is like this. Step number 1. All right. So number 1 is that, remember that business, you have 2 types of business. Yeah. You may have a pioneer status or promoted business, and you also have the non-promoted business. Or sometimes we call it as a pioneer business and non-pioneer business. Yeah. But in this case, we have 5 statutory income for pioneer business. So what is a statutory income? So you must be well versed in your adjusted income. Normally, I don't give you profit before tax. We already, for this question, is on itself. So we have profit before tax. Our adjusted income for the business is for 5 years period. Because why 5 years? Because you have to do computation for 5 years to advise your client accordingly. So adjusted income plus balancing charge minus capital allowance. And remember, your capital allowance is made up of your current year and also your brought forward. Sometimes you also have your balancing allowance, all right, into that. Then statutory income from pioneer business. So you have to make sure that your SI is correct, because all the computation is actually based on your SI. 70% of SI, 30% of your SI. So if your SI is wrong, then you will have a dominoes effect. Okay. Number 2 is that calculate total income and deem total income. All right. For example, here, just now you have computed the pioneer business until statutory income, kan? Then you have the 70% and 30%. Then you continue compute total income and deem income, which is statutory income from non-promoted business. So if you have non-promoted business, compute the SI of that non-promoted business. So maybe you be given adjusted income and capital allowance, compute a statutory income from the non-promoted. Okay, less unabsorbed non-pioneer loss brought forward. So this one is a normal format, all right, from your statutory income minus unabsorbed non-pioneer loss. Then you add on any income from your investment, section 4C and 4D, whether it's a dividend, interest, or rental. And remember that this is the level of adjusted income, adjusted rental income, adjusted interest income. So if there is any interest expense, so you must compute that accordingly. Yeah. dividend is either final or exempt. From there, you will have your aggregate income. Yeah, aggregate income, and then less current year non-pioneer loss. Remember that just now business you have pioneer loss, you have pioneer and non-pioneer. And if you have non-pioneer loss, okay, non-pioneer loss, number one, non-pioneer loss must be set off against 70% SI first. If you have the balance, then only you carry forward. All right, or sorry, if the non-pioneer loss having an absorbed amount, then only you utilize against your aggregate income here. So what happened is that okay, let's see that, or maybe kita ada example later ya. Okay, this one bagi format only. Okay, semangat nak tunjuk. Okay, never. You have, all right, for example, just now, remember your SI is 100,000. So 70% is 70,000. Assume that your current year loss from pioneer, from non-pioneer, you have 200,000, for example. Current year loss from non-pioneer is 200,000. So if 200,000, you're going to utilize here 70,000 only. Why? Because you only have 70,000 here. Even loss you have 200, but current year loss absorbed here is only 70,000. Means that you have the balance of 130 lagi. So this 130 is set off against your aggregate income. Do you get that? Itu nak cakap. If your current year loss from non-pioneer is not fully absorbed by your 70% SI, the balance 130 will be used to be set off against your aggregate income. I hope that you get that. Huh? You share. Okay. Okay, once you have your current year non-pioneer loss, all right, the unutilized balance, you can minus your approved donation. And remember that your approved donation is restricted to 10% of your aggregate income. And if you have corporate zakat, that is also restricted to 2.5% of your aggregate income. Yeah, so in your computation, you must show me that you understand the concept of 10% and 2.5%. Total income, so once you have your total income, which is actually your aggregate income minus your current year non-pioneer loss, minus approved donation, minus your corporate zakat, then you have your total income. Yeah, so this one is a bit different. Then you add deemed total income. Where does it come from? That deemed total income is your 30% of your SI. All right, then only you have your chargeable income. So why do we have deemed total income at the bottom? Because assuming that you have aggregate income, and because aggregate income, let's say that you only have aggregate income of 100. Remember just now you have current year non-pioneer loss of 130. So it means that all your aggregate income is actually absorbed by your current year loss. So 100 minus 100 is 0. So your total income is nil, isn't it? But under pioneer status, even though your total income is nil, you have to add your 30% of SI. So in other words, in any situation under pioneer status, whether the company is doing bad or good or have a lot of losses from non-pioneer, it will always be taxed on that 30% of your SI. All right, the company cannot run away. At least they will be charged 30% of their SI on the normal tax rate. You get that? And remember also that this current year non-pioneer loss, for example, just now we have 130, right? From 200 minus 70, you have balance 130. And assuming that here current year non-pioneer loss, you use 100 against your aggregate income. So now you have a balance of how much? How much is your unutilized current year loss?
30.
30. So where does it go, that 30,000?
30% finance. I don't know.
Huh? No. My question is, remember just now 30,000 of the balance non-pioneer loss? Okay. Where does it go, that 30,000? Where do you keep that 30,000? Ha ha ha. Ada orang jawab ke?
I'm lost, madam.
Ha?
I'm lost.
You are lost. Okay. Tengok sini. Jangan nangis. Okay. Let me close this, so that you can have a bigger view. Okay. Right. Remember just now. Okay, slow down Am I too fast? I think I was a bit fast lah this class. Because why? Pressure. Okay. Loss tadi, you have current year loss from your non-promoted tau. You have loss of 200, but you use 70 only against your abated income, 70,000. So you only use 70. So now you have balance of 130 loss unabsorbed. And this 130 you give against your aggregate income. So aggregate income ada 100. So you only use your loss, current year loss is 100. So now you still have a balance? You still have a balance of 30, isn't it? Ini clear tak?
Clear, madam.
Okay, so this key, my question is, where does it go after this? Dia tak boleh rentas negeri, tapi dia boleh rentas tahun.
Carry forward.
Ha, carry forward ke mana?
To the next one.
Next year jadi apa?
Carry
Next year, current year loss jadi apa? In the following year. Agak-agak jadi apa?
Utilize.
Memang unutilised. Tapi apa ke namanya bang? Oi. Ni nampak ni benda ni.
Pioneer.
Unabsorbed non-final loss brought forward against your aggregate statutory income. Tak boleh nak highlight lah benda ni. Right, this one nampak tak ni? Unabsorbed. Nampak?
Nampak, madam.
That one in year 2, that amount comes from year 1 unabsorbed current year loss. So that 30 will appear in year 2 under unabsorbed non-final loss brought forward. Okay? Alright. Ini belum boleh example lagi ni. Sabar. Okay. Step 3, tadi step 1 apa? Step 1, find statutory income from the pioneer status, right? So you have SI, then you know that you have the 70% and 30%. Number 2, then you compute your non-pioneer. What is your statutory income from non-pioneer? And then your aggregate income, then you have your deemed income, then you have chargeable income. Step number 3, it says that calculate amount transferred to exempt income account. So how to compute this exempt income account is that, remember the 70% SI, the one that I showed just now lah, right? Minus current year loss from your non-pioneer just now that I showed you. And if you have any pioneer loss brought forward. So it means that if you have any of the year, your pioneer business is making adjusted loss. Rather than having adjusted income, they ada adjusted loss. So statutory income dia nil. Alright. So adjusted loss too is from where? From the promoted or from the business, from the pioneer business. So the loss is actually set off here, pioneer loss brought forward, right? So later we look at the exempt. So your amount credited to exempt income in this case would be lower. It's not that 70,000, for example, because that 70,000 in this case, for example, the one that I show you here, the amount that goes into exempt account is 0. Why? Because you have 70,000 minus 70,000 loss from your non-pioneer. Dah habis lah. So the one that goes into your exempt income is 0. Okay. And then the following year, right, then if you have any more losses from your non-pioneer, that will further reduce your exempt account. So objective of the company, of course, to maximize your exempt account. If you are under tax incentive, whenever you have even tax incentive lah, whenever a company have an exempt income, all right? So for example, in this case, the income exempted is 70%. So that amount should go into exempt account. The good thing about having exempt account is that the company can credit that exempt income, all right, once you have the exempt income, you can actually pay out dividends to your shareholders, exempt dividend. What do you mean by exempt dividend? The dividend is not subject to tax. So for example, if company has exempt account, so the company can actually pay two types of dividend. One is the normal dividend under the profit, retained earnings, all that. Remember, you pay out your dividend from your retained earnings. So that is taxable at 24%. So company will have to pay out dividend minus tax 24%. But if the company is under any tax incentive, they may have an exempt income account. Where does it come from? It comes from the abated amount. But that abated amount is reduced by the losses from non-pioneer as well as the pioneer business. Yeah. Then you decide, okay, this is how much is my exempt income account. If I have a balance in exempt account income, if I have a balance in exempt income account, I can declare dividend to my shareholders, exempt dividend. And it says that the shareholder can be used to pay two-tier exempt dividend. What do you mean by two-tier? It means that you can give out dividend. All right, for example, in this case, Pioneer Company, exempt income from Pioneer Business, all right, can pay out dividend from the exempt account. We call it as a first-tier exempt dividend to shareholder one. Shareholder one could be an individual, it could also be a company. All right. So let's assume that the shareholder one is a company. So katalah Pioneer Company tadi dia pay out 10,000 ringgit dividend, exempt dividend. Ya. 10,000 tu sikit sangat lah, example. Ya. So the shareholder one company receiving that dividend, which is exempt dividend, dia akan masuk, go into this exempt dividend, will have to be put into exempt account. Why? Because the dividend is exempted from tax. So whenever you receive exempt income, that income goes into exempt account. And from the exempt account, the company, in this case shareholder one, can declare another level of dividend. And the dividend paid out of exempt account is what we call exempt dividend. It means that the shareholder that received the dividend will not have to pay any tax. Yeah. So now you have shareholder two. So how many level dah you bayar? First from Pioneer Company to shareholder one, single tier, or what called tier one. And then from shareholder one to shareholder two is what we call two tier, or the second tier exempt dividend. So when the law says that exempt account can pay out two tier exempt dividend, means that you can only pay from pioneer status to shareholder one to shareholder two. Of course, shareholder two will have exempt account because why? The dividend received is exempted from tax, but they cannot pay out any more exempt dividend because the law only allows two level or two tier exempt dividend. So any dividend paid out to shareholder three is no longer exempted from tax. So that's why company, whenever you're under tax incentive, you want to maximize your exempt account. Because when you pay out exempt account, you pay out dividend from your exempt account, shareholder will be very happy because there's no tax deducted from the dividend. So when you make your shareholder happy, of course, they will continue to invest in your company. Right. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier that under pioneer status, the rate is 70% of your SI. But there are other incentive. For example, for normal pioneer status, for promoted activity or product, the rate is 70% of SI for 5 years period. But if the company involved in any national and strategic importance activity or products, all right, the SI given exemption or abated is 100%. So it means that there's no zero SI that will be taxed at the normal tax rate. So all the SI will be abated. And the period given for those companies involved in national and strategic importance, the pioneer period is 10 years instead of the 5 years period. Yeah. So these are the variation to the pioneer status. So it means that instead of giving 70% for 5 years, this company get 100% for 10 years. But you must make sure that the activity or the product that you have has the national and strategic importance. I'm not sure. I think the MRT project is fall into this category. Yeah, any MRT project, any big project by the government would fall under this category. Then you have contract R&D companies, 100% for 5 years. High-tech company, including new and emerging technologies and industrial linkage program, 100% for 5 years. And then you have selected industry, machine, equipment, all these things. All right. So if you fall into any of this category, you may go for a higher abatement, or the period of pioneer is longer. All right. And then, okay. For good tax planning, should you go for pioneer? Remember that pioneer status is beneficial only if you have a statutory income. All right. If your statutory income is 000, all right, don't go lah for pioneer status. You don't want to go for pioneer status. Yeah, because why? If your SI is 0, how much is abated? If 70% abated, how much goes into your exempt account? Hello?
Okay, madam.
0, madam.
0 lah kan? If your SI is 0, then the one that goes into 70% abated is 0 lah. So how much go into your exempt account? 0 lah. So why should you go for exemptive then? It doesn't help the company at all pun. It doesn't make any difference. Yeah. So if the company project to have a profit during the pioneer period, then you may consider pioneer status. And you make sure that the company is not making losses either from the pioneer business or from the non-pioneer business. Because why? The company has non-pioneer business, the non-pioneer will should not having loss. Because why? That will also reduce your abated income, the non-pioneer loss. Yeah. And not capital intensive. Why? Because if you have highly intensive capital, your CA will be very high. Adjusted income minus CA, kalau CA is very high, statutory income small lah. So bila statutory income small, no good lah to go for pioneer status. Alright, so in other words, if you're capital intensive, you may not want to go for pioneer status. There are company, for example, or activity that are making a lot of profit, but at the same time have a high capital intensive. So in that case, pioneer status may not be right for you lah. You may go for investment tax allowance, for example. Yeah, but if the company is continuously making a profit, statutory income is very nice, then you go for pioneer status. Because at the end of the day, not only you want to have lower chargeable income, but you also want to have maximum exempt account. Yeah. If a company wish to apply for ITA or RA, it has to surrender pioneer status. So assuming that you already have your pioneer status, right? But if then you say that, oh, I'm not doing good lah because my projection does not actually materialize, company is not making good profit. So you may want to withdraw your pioneer status and you want to go apply for investment tax allowance or reinvestment allowance. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that I want to stop here, right, for pioneer status because I want you to go through the example, all right, in the slides, and later I have also given you tutorial on your pioneer status, right? I think that is too much for today, Code. You have about 5 minutes. Should I go on or not? Let's see, yeah. Example. Might as well I go through lah, yeah. Okay, let's see for the example here. You have year 1 only. All right, pioneer business, you have adjusted income and capital allowance of 80,000. Non-pioneer, you have adjusted loss. Yeah. Then you also have capital allowance of 25,000. So when you have adjusted loss, adjusted income is nil. Yeah. So means that if your adjusted income is nil, whatever capital allowance that you have, you are not going to utilize. You're going to carry forward that following year. Right. So it means your SI is also nil. Then you also have your rental income and you have approved donation of 5,000. So for year 1, you look for the statutory income on your pioneer business. All right. Banyak sebenarnya. I upload everything dekat Google Classroom lah dia. Semua dekat Google Classroom, bawah chapter, scan chapter and slides. Ada kat situ. Ya, yeah? Okay. Where is it? Okay, just go through this one. You have adjusted income from Pioneer, from promoted business 200,000 minus capital allowance, then you have statutory income 120,000. Is that clear? Clear ya? I tak boleh nak sini Okay, tak apalah. So, statutory income from Pioneer business 120,000. Okay, next, number 2, what do? Non-Pioneer, alright? So, your non-Pioneer total income means that for non-Pioneer, adjusted income from non-Pioneer business, mana dapat 64 tadi? Oh, dia memang income. Sorry, I ingat loss tadi. Nampak loss ah. It's an income of 64,000. 64,000 minus CA of 25,000. Then SI from non-Pioneer is 39,000. Are you there? Okay, ah? Alright, then loss brought forward because this year 1, so you don't have any losses brought forward. No information on your loss brought forward, so we assume that it's 0 lah. And then you also have your rental income 12,000, so plug in your rental income 12,000. Then you have your aggregate income of 51,000. Right? Okay. Any current year loss from non-Pioneer? No. Why? Because your non-Pioneer is making a profit, adjusted income. So dia tak ada lah adjusted loss. So your adjusted loss here 0 lah. Then you have approved donation 5,000. So remember that your aggregate income is 51,000, 10% is 5,100. That's how you do it. So your approved donation 5,000, so you can claim everything. All right, let's assume that your approved donation is 6,000. How much can you claim?
5,100.
Yes, 5,100 only, yeah? Because restricted to 10% of your aggregate income. No corporate zakat is given, so your total income 46,000 plus your deemed total income of 30% SI. Where do you get that 30% of your SI? Pioneer SI, where is it? This one, right? 120,000 times by 30% is 36,000. 120 times 30%. Yelah, 36,000. So deemed total income 36 plus total income 46, you have a chargeable income of 82,000. So far so good?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Okay, now ada step 3. Step 3 nak buat apa? What is your step 3?
Calculate amount transfer to exam income
Yes.
account.
So how do you do that? You start from the statutory income from your Pioneer, which is 120,000 times by 70%. You dapat 84,000. There's no current year loss from non-Pioneer. No Pioneer loss brought forward. So the total amount 84,000 is credited into your exempt income account. Senang kan? Senang lah tu. Okay, let's go to the next one. Example 2 ada year 2, year 3. Extension. Alright, so the first year kita dah buat dah. Now you have year 2 and year 3. Pioneer status, you have adjusted income in year 2, but year 3 ada loss. And then you have capital allowance, and then you have non-Pioneer, year 2 ada loss.
Ada loss.
See, life is always more interesting. It gets more challenging. Right? Sabar. Don't give up on me. Okay, hold on. Sikit lagi boleh? Okay.
Boleh, madam.
Ada kelas tak 3:30?
Tak ada.
Tak apalah, kita kena stop by 3:30. Maybe some other student ada. Okay. Okay, now agak-agaknya nak buat macam mana? Sama je, step dia sama. Year 2, now we continue with year 2, Pioneer status first. Determine SI for Pioneer status. Agak-agak dah tahu tak SI Pioneer status berapa? Oi, pakai calculator.
70.
70.
Yeah, so SI from your Pioneer is 70,000. But what is your SI from non-Pioneer? What is your statutory income from your non-Pioneer? Hello? Connection loss.
0.
Alright, this is your pioneer 70,000. Okay, year 3 kira siap-siap lah sebab dia dah bagi kat situ. Mana tadi? Year 3, pioneer status is nil because you have a loss. So bila you have adjusted loss, your adjusted income is nil, then capital allowance you carry forward. So in this case, your adjusted income is nil lah. So there's no capital allowance for current year because 0. So you have SI for year 2 70,000, year 3 is 0. Can you do that? Okay,
Yes.
Next is your total income for year 2 and year 3. Okay, let's go to year 2. Statutory income from non-pioneer, non-pioneer. You have adjusted loss kan year 2?
Yes.
So bila adjusted loss, adjusted income is nil. Whatever
Nil.
current year will be carried forward to next year. The 16,000 in year 2 CA will be carried forward to year 3. Year 3 it becomes 16,000. Nampak? Year
Nampak.
2 CA currently ada 16,000 but because adjusted income is nil, you carry forward that to year 3. Year 3 it becomes CA brought forward. Alright, okay. Now year 2 statutory income is nil. And then you have rental income 12,000 in year 2. So aggregate income is 12,000. And then you don't have any loss from non-pioneer. Is it? Non-pioneer. Kenapa tak ada loss Non-pioneer bukan adjusted loss 13,000 tu ke? Why is it not deducted here? Current year non-pioneer loss. Oh, remember.
Sebab dia ada 12,000 je.
Tak. Loss
So?
ada 13,000. But nanti kita kena tengok kita punya exam income dulu. Kita kena use against your exam income. Mari kita tengok terus kat situ. Nampak? Ini kan?
Oh.
70% of your year 2 punya statutory income less current year. Remember just now kita ada 13,000, you have to utilize there first. So in this case, the losses from non-pioneer, mana tadi? Ni 13,000 kan year 2, adjusted income loss ni. 13,000 you have to use against your 70% abated tu dulu. So bila you use here, everything is absorbed lah, no more left to be set off against your aggregate income. Alright? So in this case, amount credited is 36,000 instead of 49,000, mula 70%, but reduced by the losses from non-pioneer, you only have left with 36,000. Okay, later I may want you to do this first, kot. Alright, calculate the exempt income first, then only you calculate total income. Right? Okay. So that's why here 12,000, you do not have any current year non-pioneer loss because why? The 13,000 has been used or absorbed by your 70% SI. Then you minus, even though you donated 5,000, you donate 5,000 every year. Donation 5,000 every year, but you cannot claim 5,000 in year 2 because aggregate income is only 12,000, so you can only minus 1,200, which is 10% of your aggregate income. Then you have total income of 10,008, plus, and then you have 30% SI, you have chargeable income. And in year 3, all right, non-pioneer, you have adjusted income 35,000, CA for the year is 10,000, and then you have CA brought forward 16,000, SI 9,000. This one is from non-pioneer. All right, plus rental of 12,000, then you have 21,000. Approved donation is only 2,100, which is 10% of that. Total income, but deemed total income is 0. Why 0? Because pioneer status you have a 0 SI. So 70%, 30% of that is also 0. So your chargeable income is only 18,900. Okay. Because of this, all right, because your current year loss will affect you punya aggregate income, I want you to do your exempt income first. All right, compute your exempt income to be your step 2, then only step 3 for your total income. Okay. All right, now you have year 4 and year 5. You may want to continue how to compute your year 4 and year 5. Remember, you have to do for 5 years, right? But I believe that you can do it now. All right, maybe after you listen to the recorded lecture again, you should be able to do your year 4 and your year 5. So when you do, all right, you want to have this year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. So these are the format. All right, so you don't have to rewrite every time because it's on a horizontal format, so you just follow. Okay, so that is example 3. So do your year 4 and year 5. So with that, I think that that's all for today. All right, on Pioneer status, go back and you may want to listen again to the recorded lecture. You may want to refer to the textbook. All right, and then I will continue the tutorial in the next class, inshallah. All right, on Thursday 2 p.m. Anything else? Tak keluar pula chat ni. Madam, midterm bila? Bila you nak? Ha. Nanti kita discuss saja dalam group so that you can decide among yourself. Alright? You decide the date and time. I bagi soalan je. Okay? Alright. So I think that that's all for today. Thank you for attention and thank you for your participation. I know that it's a bit stressful on this topic. It's a bit different, the computation. But you will appreciate this topic when you do a lot more tax incentive when you do your advanced taxation. Okay. Apa lagi? Chat. Okay, thank you all. Thank you. I see you again insyaAllah next class. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, madam.
Bye.